But then you have stories like that, the 60s Japanese airline flight,
It's in 1986.
86, is that when it was?
Yeah.
And I think it was a cargo plane flying through Alaska. And they said that these, first of all, he said there was these two little lights that like came up and were darting around in front of them. Like moving at the
they
speed
were
of light.
little rectangular lights, and they were like scanning like this, but shining the light beam into the cockpit. And it was hot and scaring the pilots. I mean,
and the pilot just said that he reached into his briefcase to pull a camera out to take a photo of them, and they just vanished. And then a couple minutes later, this mothership shows up. That's like the size...
It's
the size of
like
a football stadium or something.
It's the shape of a walnut. It's about 1,000 feet diameter.
He drew an amazing.
Huge.
He drew an amazing illustration, Steve, of how big it was. He drew a picture of the plane that he was flying compared to the size of the craft.
Right.
Which is, you could probably find it on this Wikipedia article, or if you type in the guy's name, the pilot's name, and the Japanese Airlines cargo flight.
Kenji Tarachi.
It is insanely big. Okay, it's this little sketch on the top, I think.
Right, those are the two rectangular things, and then he's another sketch.
It looks like a napkin sketch. You'll know when you see it. Copy. But yeah, that's something, especially in the 80s, like something that big is like, I don't know. I don't know if that could be military.
The amazing thing about this is that the radar data exists. And you can analyze the radar data.
From that incident.
From that incident.
Mm-hmm.
They have 45 minutes of radar data. And a lot of it was confiscated by President Reagan's scientific team and the CIA and the FBI.
Really?
They all came up to confiscate it. But I'm blanking on his name. Oh,
yeah, that's
there's
it.
The craft.
That's it, Steve.
Yeah, the big walnut.
It's a little bit
thing.
low quality, but
I got an image of the guy too.
Oh, beautiful. Pull up the. Can you blow it up so we could show it to people? Look at that. So you see
Callahan.
Look at that. That is insane. That thing is like that's like 100 times the size of the airplane.
Exactly.
You could fit 100 of those airplanes inside that thing.
And so when people are skeptical of this, I'm like, how wrong can this guy have been? Okay, so maybe he's off by the size by 20%. For that to become a reasonable story,
right?
He would have to be off by so much,
right?
Right. I mean, right. And he describes it as it moved in front of the plane. You couldn't see out of the cockpit. The craft was there. I mean, it's terrifying. And he was terrified in talking to the air traffic control, and I would be too. I mean, that's terrifying.
How did the story get out, I wonder?
And
Can you imagine? They would
I
want to
don't
keep
remember
this
exactly
secret.
how it got out. It got out pretty quickly, and they
really?
weren't able to put the lid on it. Yeah, and then Callahan had to turn all the materials over to Reagan's scientific team, and then but he had kept copies for himself, stashed in a box under his desk, and he kept it under his desk for like 20 years.
Who
while
did?
He worked? John Callahan, who was the FAA chief of accidents and investigations.
Okay, yes.
And he kept that material for like 20 years and then released it publicly. So Daniel Kumpe, another physicist, he was a physicist at the Niels Bohr Institute. He has a book called Anomaly, where he actually analyzed that. In my paper, I analyzed the basic description of what was going on, just to get an idea of how fast this thing was moving. But Daniel Kumpe actually worked through the radar data. And this thing made multiple jumps from location to location in the 11 or so second sweep of the radar. And he estimates the acceleration to be on the order of 10,000 Gs.
10,000
With a top speed. So you get a top speed of about 250,000 miles an hour.
250,000.
That thing could get to the moon. At that speed, that thing could get to the moon in 52 minutes.
How fast does our fastest jet plane go?
Our fastest fighter jet?
Fastest fighter jet,
fastest, I don't exactly know. I'm like...
What's like the fastest?
Probably
Mach?
not much. Probably 6,000 miles an hour.
6,000.
Probably faster.
Okay.
You're not going to get much faster than 10,000. 17,000 is orbital speed.
The F-22 Raptor goes to 1,400 miles per hour. Okay. Wow. So
and they can't accelerate more
200 times the speed of that.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
That's insane. And these things also have to like slow down. They have to stop. They stop on a dime. That's
the accelerations are insane. Yeah, and that energy has to go somewhere. Mm-hmm. So where does that energy, that kinetic energy, first, where does the energy come from? It's coming from their engines. Okay, fine. You can just say that and maybe get away with it. But when it stops, where does the energy go?
Right.
That's a bigger question. In a car, you have brakes. The brakes heat up, right? But with this sort of thing, where does the energy go? You've got a ton of kinetic energy to get rid of in fractions of a second. It's just no way to do it. There should be a huge explosion when it happens, and it doesn't.
Right.
Yeah, we really don't understand what these things do at all. And it's not that it's advanced technology. It is conceptually far beyond us. They're amazing, really.
Do you think it's possible that any of this stuff could be some like military stuff that we don't know about?
No.
No,
absolutely not.
Really?
For one good reason. And the reason's sitting on your shelf right over there, Richard Dolan's book on USOs. Richard Dolan has a new book on unidentified submerged objects.
Right.
These things have been these things have been observed by and recorded in ship's logs for over 150 years. You have reports from the 1800s of a disc coming out of the water, hovering next to the ship, and then shooting off into the clouds. That's been going on for 150 years.
Right. Yeah.
And you can't. And once you know that those cases exist, you can't just say it's got to be Russian or Chinese. That doesn't hold water anymore. It's silly.
Yeah, but don't you think it's possible that we could have got our hands on some of that stuff and like recreated it ourselves?
So some of the modern day things could be modern secret military technology. That's true. But the cases from the 1800s certainly can't.
That you can't explain away with technology.
And so you can't. You don't get rid of the extraterrestrial or non-human hypothesis by just looking at the military technology argument today. The 150-year-old cases, you got to give that up.
The 150-year-old cases are interesting though, because you have like writings that have been copied from like, some guy on the deck of a ship in the middle of the ocean, probably, half smashed on a bottle of rum.
Right.
Explaining these things. It was like a sun that emerged from the depths, and it was the size of the whatever. It was, the
size of 3 moons.
The size of 3 moons, right. So it's like, it's very difficult to understand and parse and corroborate that stuff.
It is, but those descriptions aren't any different than modern day descriptions, and that's what's really compelling about it. Yeah,
that's true. Especially shit like this. I mean, this is like...
Yeah, that case is really pretty fantastic, and 10,000 Gs is amazing. At 10,000 Gs, at 1,000 G acceleration, you can get up to 90% the speed of light in about 17 hours. Because relativity kicks in. So at a 1,000 G acceleration, which we can't imagine doing either, most of, an airplane F-22's wings will rip off at about 13 Gs.
Right.
And most missiles their frame can't even withstand more than about 60 Gs. So 1,000 Gs is well beyond us. But at 1,000 Gs, you can get up to, in 17 hours, you're going 90% the speed of light.
90%.
That's relativistic speed. So relativity kicks in, time goes slower, and all that kind of stuff happens. And so going to stars within 50 light years literally becomes a day trip for the traveler.
Wow.
Because time's going slower on their ship because they're going so fast.
Because of time dilation.
Because of time dilation. For us, it's going to take 50 years for them to get there and 50 years to come back, but not for the traveler.
Interesting.
And so the fact that these things have been observed, suggests that maybe that's possible. Maybe you can pull that off.